Okay, let's output this data right down here in our home page. So the way we do that, well, essentially from this data here, right? Well, I don't want to go data.products.data to go through it. So what we can do is just create a little variable here for us saying const products is equal to data.products.data. And now when I do console log products, we have our actual products displaying here on the screen. It's an array with different objects, okay? So what I want to do is essentially loop over this array and output each individual item on the screen. So the way we do that is with map in React. So go down here. Again, if I write anything here, like a H1, this is going to be HTML, JSX. If I want to do JavaScript, I add the curly brackets and I say products.map. All right, and in here, I'll have access to each product, like that. And let's say for each product, I just want to output a H1, and we're going to refactor this in just a bit. So just a H1, and in here, I'm going to say product, like that, and hit save. Now, as you can see by default, it's going to say objects are not valid as a React child. Yeah, because this is an object here, see? So we need to go init and attributes and then title or price or whatever I want to extract. So product dot attributes dot title, and let's hit save. And look at that, it works. Yay, we got our data from our Strapi backend. Really cool. What I want to do though is I don't want to make like a H1, H2 here for every single little thing. So what I do is I'm going to make a new component and then just render the data in there. So here's what I want you to do. Let's make a new folder and call this components. And in here, we are going to have a new file called product.js. Very cool. So in here, what I want to do is say export default function product. And this one, we're going to open up here. And we are going to return a div. So this is not working, so let's switch it over to React. Div. And we're going to have another div here with an image. And out here, we are going to have a H2 with the title. And then we are going to have a H3 with the price. And hit save. All right, so now what I can do is go back to our, let me close all of these up, to our homepage here. And I'm going to import it here at the top. So we're going to say import our product. Look at that, it automatically recognizes it. So rather than outputting the content here, we're just going to output the component like that. All right, just to keep it nice, simple, and clean. Okay, so now what I can do is I can pass down all the details in this product component. So I can pass it down in props by saying product is equal to curly brackets product. Okay, and now I have access to this data in here, in the product, like that. Okay, if we take a look now, look, I'm outputting the component for every single item. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if we go here, we have access to the data in the product now. So we can literally go down here and say product.attributes.title and hit save. Let's take a look. Does that work the same way? And it does. Look at that. Really cool. Now to keep this even cleaner and more simple, what I can do is go to the top and I can extract the info from props. So rather than doing product attributes title, product attributes price, product attributes, it gets quite long. What we can do is just say const here equal to product.attributes, and I can basically extract all the values I want from this. So I can extract the title, the price, and the image. And now I can just do title. Okay, so basically on the right side here, you want the property that you're going to extract from. So product.attributes dot title, right? So you'd add this here and then whatever info you want to extract from it. So we're going to keep it simple as title. This is going to be price now. Let's see if that works. And it does. Look at that. 43, 79, 19. Very cool. And now for the image, the source is going to be curly brackets, image. And now for this one, we do have to kind of dig deeper into it. It's going to be image, data, attributes, the formats, if you remember. And then we can do small URL. All right, and let's take a look. And look at that, it works. If you want to see this data, in case you're wondering where I got this from, just do a console log of product. Okay, do a console log of product. Take a look at this. Let's do a refresh. Open this up and look at that. Attributes. So you have image.data.attributes.format, and we have large, medium, small thumbnail. So pick one. In this case, we picked small. And then here you have more info like height, path, size, and URL, which is the one we used. And that's it. Amazing. Everything works just fine. We do have an error here saying each child in a list should have a unique prop. So every time you're rendering out a list in React, it's going to ask you for a key. So it knows basically where each individual item is in which position. This is especially helpful when you want to delete a specific item. So I want this to be deleted. You need to let React know, hey, I need some kind of key or some kind of identifier to know which product to delete. So by default, you can just do key here. And in our case, it's simple because we have our slug as the ID. So we can just do product.attributes.slug. All right, so just add that key there, and that's going to get rid of this error message for you. And look at that, no more errors, and we have our content out on the screen. Let's get rid of these console logs as well. Get rid of that and get rid of that, and we should be ready to go. Do another refresh. Boom, perfect. Look at that, we have content up and going. Lovely. There's another little thing I want to do before I stop this video. We're gonna have a bunch of other like sensitive information. Like for example, here in our index.js, sorry, not in our app.js, we're outputting this localhost 1337/GraphQL. Now, if we deploy this application, it's not going to be on localhost 1337 anymore. It's probably going to be a different URL. So what I want to do is take this and actually put it in a environment variable file. So to do that in Next.js, what we're going to do is just click here and say .env.local. That's how we create one. Okay. And in here, we're going to say backend API is equal to, and we're just going to paste that in there. Cool. Just like that, and hit save. Let's do these quotes like that. Cool, hit save. So now to access this, what we can do is go here, and rather than doing this, we can say process.env. What was the name of it? Backend API. Okay, cool. So now even if you deploy it somewhere, this is automatically going to be replaced with the new URL for you. So there we go. Let's hit save. And whenever you're messing with these environment variables, you have to make sure to close up the server and reopen it. Okay, let's take a look, and look at that. We have an error. What's going on? It says process.env. It says you're creating a URQL client without the URL. So we're running this URQL client side in the browser. We're not doing any server side rendering. So if we console log this out, let's just take a look. Or do a console log here of process.env.backend API. And let's do one in the component as well and hit save. Let's see what we get. Let's do a refresh. Refresh. Do we get anything in the browser? It's not displaying because we're getting this error message. Maybe if I console log it out beforehand. Let's do it here. We can actually just do one console log. We don't need two. Do a refresh. Looks like we're not getting it, but it's gonna be undefined basically. All right, it's not gonna recognize it. But if we take a look in, let's just do this. Let's comment this out and let's comment these out as well. I want to show it to you. Okay, now there shouldn't be any errors, so we should be able to see it. Okay, what now? Oh, misspelled that. It's processed with two S's. That was the problem. Cool. So there you go. Look at that. Undefined. It's not working. It's not getting the local host. What is going on? But take a look. In our terminal, we are getting it back. So by default, Next.js runs the process.env, all the data that you put in your process.env local files, it's only going to run on server side. So it's going to work there, but it's not going to work on the browser. So that's a little catch there. If you want it to work in the browser as well, you need to make sure that all your env files are starting off with next public, like that. And then when you hit save and you rerun this, it's going to work in the browser as well. So take a look, refresh. Let's see. I need to replace this now. Let's go back here. It's going to be / next public backend API. And look at that. It appears now. All right. So that's a little catch there. Need to add this next public there. Okay. So now if we just uncomment this and add next public and then uncomment everything back, everything should work nice and dandy. There we go. Everything is still the same. And then we don't need to worry about exposing our little backend API for everyone else to see if we do end up putting this code up on the internet. Okay, so that's it. That was a bit long. Sorry about that, but I hope it makes sense. All right, see you in the next one.